lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Our second trip to Japan did not disappoint 2 weeks ago, as the 3 races at Mount Fuji provided some stellar racing action. Sam Hammerstedt returned to winning form, winning race 1 and 3 with Jesper Eriksson taking race number 2. Tonight, we come to the granddaddy of them all, Spa-Francorchamps, and the 80 minutes of Spa. Tony Spasso, Jason Stofford up in the booth with you for this one. Jason, qualifying, getting ready to roll right here as we've got some drivers already out on track.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a great race. Obviously, one race here today, the 80 minutes quote-unquote enduro round, where these drivers will definitely have to make at least one pit stop. Fuel limit actually 66%, so I'm not sure whether they're going to have to make one or whether they're going to have to make 2. Guess that's something to find out here, as fuel saving could be a factor. I think it's fairly possible around here, as we're watching Oscar Fredriksson on his outlap second place in point standings at the moment.
Speaking of the points, let's take a quick look at the rundown on the points coming into tonight. Sam Hammerstedt with a monster lead right now, but it gets real tight after that. Oscar Fredriksson, Jesper Eriksson, only separated by 3. Gustav Jonsson right there within the slug as Dan Homer and Jocko Wet round out. So Jocko Wet round out your top 6. Philip Axelsson, Jakob Ulrichsen, Sebastian Magnussen, or Haken Wet, rounding out your top 10. I mean, through the mid pack, it's still a slugfest, especially considering there's 2 races left after tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at the standings here. Some of the gaps between people. You've got gaps like 4 points, 8 points, 1 point even between Nordra and Holmer in 14th and 15th. But I think Oscar Fredriksson is getting onto his first lap here, Tony.
It does look like he is, as he's coming out of, they're coming into Radion. Sorry, La Source. I get those two confused. Nice tidy line through La Source to come take the green. Sam Hammarstedt also out on track, as we're going to stay with his teammate right now for 4Z Sports. Those guys were having a blast during the practice session, Jason. I don't know if you got to see it or not. There's a glitch on pit road where when you're in the pit boxes, it actually ghosts your car so you can drive through everybody else. Well, the 3 or 4 of them got together coming off the pit road and stayed that way for the entire lap. They were inside of each other.
Yeah,
they were just having a blast.
Why not have a bit of fun with it, eh? But
absolutely.
Keep looking at the lap of the number 112 Mercedes here as he goes through Bruxelles and into No Name, which does have a name, depending on who you talk to. It could be called Speaker's Corner, it could be called Jackie X, who knows? Now we're coming through Pouon or Double Gauche, depending on whether you're French or not. And you've got to go pretty wide and then cut back in here as the name of Double Left does suggest. Now here we see Leifagne or multiple other names. Again, this is a track of many, many names. But I know this one is called Campus or Stavolo.
Either or.
It never ends.
Well, Stavolo is the first part. Stavolo is the second part. Campus is the first part of the corner. Now into Blanchimont.
Yeah. Just flatten these cars.
Good,
I think it's actually easier on iRacing.
Absolutely. Coming through Blanchimont, it was a good head of steam, because now he comes into the bus stop chicane. Getting ready to put lap 1 in the books. Does go quick time. Good grief. 22.1710. As we are going to check in. If I can find him again.
Is it normal that we run lone qualifying?
No. Maybe. Kinda. Sam Hammarstedt, of course, blisters a lap. Good grief, Sam. Leave some on the table for the rest of the kids, will you?
Yeah, I mean, he's showing exactly why he is the championship leader and deciding to not go out that time, maybe.
Waiting on it. Bjorn Brostrom in the Dancing Pony tonight. Only two Ferraris in the field. Good to see. 2 Ferraris, 2 Porsches, 2 Audis. And this will make you happy with your Britain being represented with the lone McLaren in the field. Getting the bus stop chicane wrong.
Didn't look particularly good when we switched to it, but I'm going to be honest, that's a bit of a surprise to see. It's something you don't normally see in the GT3 races on this service, is that McLaren, but
the flamethrower, as it's been nicknamed,
see it go round. Yeah, exactly. Flamethrower, fax machine, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I mean, let's face it. iRacing really needs to work on the balance of power with these cars. To figure out a way to equalize them a little bit better, like maybe put a weight penalty on the Mercedes, turn the boost down on the Audi, something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean they've got a balance of performance, but it doesn't. It's not the best.
Yeah, it's not balanced.
Yeah, that's the one thing that a bop should do is the B balance. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that doesn't tend to be the case. Although if you're my skill level, as opposed to some of the drivers that we have in here, you can get away with driving any car because it doesn't really matter. Just when you
Right.
start getting properly competitive, it does matter, and then you start seeing uh, Germany Fest up at the top.
Pretty much, yeah. As has been the case with at least one of those German makes throughout history. Um, their racing arm of that company has always tried to pursue dominance in whatever series they're in.
Yeah, exactly. Not so much working too well in Formula One at this point, but that's besides the point. We see Robert Eriksson still going through his lap into Blanchimont here. Looks pretty planted as he goes through there. Now up to the chicane, which is still called the bus stop chicane by many, even though that's not been true for over 20 years.
Yeah, it's no longer the case that it's a right, left kind of situation. Well,
Yeah,
that
McLaren up in
wasn't
7th place.
yeah, that wasn't too shabby of a lap for the lone British car. Checking in with Jonas Skoglund is he's got that Porsche wound up right now. Currently sitting 17th quick though in the Bright Esports entry.
Livery definitely living up to its name at the front. That is quite bright.
Exactly. Sir, we need you to tone the color down on the front of that Porsche. You're blinding the rest of us, and we will be right back after this.
Behöver du en bil? Moby hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Moby hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
Any day now. There we go. As we will take a quick look at our starting grid tonight, as Sam Hammarstedt and Gustav Jansson going to start it from the pole as we get ready to turn these guys loose for 80 minutes. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, very quick look here as Sam Hammarstedt still holding that lead, but just looking here, he will be holding that lead actually, obviously, because
Start-finish straight.
Source isn't the first turn
Right.
of the race, though it is the first turn of the lap. But here we go then, green flag is out and we're underway for 80 minutes of racing here at Spa-Francorchamps. Sam Hammarstedt keeping that lead, but side by side here for Oscar Fredriksson and Jesper Eriksson as they went through Eau Rouge and Radion. Gustav Jansson directly on the back of his teammate, now pulling out to provide a bit of a slipstream behind and maybe try and challenge for the lead from his team 2 by 2 as we come down into Les Combes. Hammarstedt keeping that lead. Jesper Eriksson in the 37 is up 2 positions as we come now through towards Bruxelles. Or there's a spinner in the back.
We do have a spinner in the back. It looks like Phil Grossberg. Yes, it is. Let's see what happened to that BMW. There he is on the outside. Now the inside. And back to the outside. Just a hip check. Good grief.
Yeah, he just gets pushed off.
I know
completely.
Hockey is big in Sweden, but that hip check was uncalled for. And he immediately just towed it to the pits. As we check back in the front, Hammarstedt starting to pull away. Big shocker there.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Even if Jansson would have got through in Les Combes, looking at the qualifying times, I wouldn't have given it long before Hammarstedt would have been back through. But everyone is just sort of chilling for a little bit now, trying to find their positions in the race. Looks like Sebastian Magnussen's getting quite close to the back of the sole Porsche for 13th position here. Not going to be able to find a way through before Blanchimont. We'll see how that Merc is on the brakes in comparison to the Porsche. Nothing doing there, but the BMW in the background of that's Joachim Ulriksson going for a big move on Victor Hammerström into the chicane. And sorry, Marcus Stromberg isn't the lone Porsche. I've noticed Jonas Skoglund's in a Porsche as well.
Jonas Skoglund's in a Porsche, and we've got Pontius Nordgren in a Ferrari, as he is right there as Gunnar Ulriksson, as well as Bjorn Broström. So 2 Ferraris, 2 Porsche, 2 Audi, a lot of BMWs, a ton of Mercedes, and 1 lone McLaren. Checking in with your countrymen. Kinda.
Country car, I guess.
Country car, anyways. Battle starting to heat up behind him as that's Jocker Wet and Huck and Ware going after each other.
I think you got those 2 names
backwards.
Yeah, actually, that was... might have been correct. I'm not too sure, but now Axelsson is trying to pinch a move here on Håkan Huet. Still going to be side by side here as they go towards No Name. That outside lane's not going to pay too many dividends, but it's a bit loose there for the BMW on the inside, and around the outside of Puon's Brave, but it's managed here by the 019 of Philip Axelsson.
1 big bag Merc goes around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. Oh, some great racing here in the early going of this 80-minute enduro, if you will. Jason mentioned earlier 65% fuel fill, so we're looking at least 1 pit stop tonight, most likely 2, depending on we'll know for certain when the first round of green flag stops happen.
Yeah.
As checking back in the battle for second between Jansson and Eriksson. And Jason, am I seeing things, or did that team remove the shine from their paint? There used to be a lot more chrome on there, didn't there?
It's looking a bit less chromy than it was before, but still Still definitely some chrome on that, but it was unsurprising there to see Jesper Eriksson just sort of sitting behind his teammate here as they're consolidating their lead up at the front. Looks like the McLaren of Robert Eriksson's in a little bit of a battle going on just in the back of shot here, as he might be looking to go side by side here through Rouge Radion. It's definitely doable, but it's going to put him very much in a bad position for Camel Straight, so he decides not to. Stays behind Lucas Holmgren for now, but that's going to be a Merc with a run behind him. Jokke is on the attack here as he chooses the left-hand side. Going to be the outside for the Lecom chicane, and he's clear before the braking zone, so able to just slot in there nicely and have eyes forward.
Clears the Mercedes, does not clear the BMW, as that is Lucas Holmgren trying to hold him off right now. Both those guys running pretty comparable lap times, but throw a blanket over your top 5 as they're a good almost 3 seconds up the road right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what teamwork can do for you. I mean, they were just sort of working with that that slipstream on the long Camel Straight, and if you can work that to your advantage rather than everyone else's advantage, then that works. And yeah, Tony, you've been confirmed correct. The chrome's been changed to a metallic to get the Marby logo to show up a bit better. I thought that it was showing up quite nicely there on the side of those cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that they did away with the gold had me a little concerned, as that's an orange roof on that car now.
It is, yeah. See, it still looks a bit like chrome just because of the silver colour, so I think it's definitely a good change to those liveries. They were good before, but they're even better now.
As we're going to bring up the track map and give you the car numbers. There we go. Nobody really straggling behind at this point. I mean, everybody's still in the same sector for scoring for most part. But yeah, I mean, this top 5 is just insane right now, as Oscar Fredriksson and Dan Holmer do battle as they come into the chicane. Oh, that's some dirty pool. Oh, and pays for it.
Oh, that's gonna be very awkward. They've managed to get out the way there. Yeah, Daniel Holmer not too happy about that one, but I wouldn't be too happy if I was him. I wouldn't be too happy if I was Oscar Fredriksson either. There's a bit of contact coming into Lecom, but then just sort of maybe an awkward bounce, or just moving back onto track a bit too aggressively.
That's what it looked like.
Not too sure. Either way, came back into that 79 Bright Esports car, and that's going to be a lot of damage on that rear, so not going to be a happy bunny through the high-speed corners, and there are quite a few of them here.
And if I'm seeing things correctly, Jason, it looks like the left rear on that Bright Esports BMW, it's definitely bent.
Oh, it will be, yeah.
As we go back live,
he's
and
going to be
hemorrhaging spots.
Of the words to use, those are the ones I was going to choose as well. That's going to be pit immediately and just see what you can do with the race after that.
Yeah, it's bring it to the pits, get it fixed, and hope for the best. As we're still watching this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th, as Lucas Holmgren pulled a little bit of a gap there, as Jokke under heavy pressure from the lone Mercedes driven by Robert Eriksson. I don't have the best luck here at Spa in the Mercedes, or in the McLaren. First time we tried it, we ended up driving what equated to a pavement modified when we finally brought the thing home at the end of the race. And tried it with an Audi the following year, and same results. At least the Mercedes still had all its bodywork when we drove that when I used to drive endurance stuff.
Maybe you like front-engined cars. Oh, very wide!
Oh!
Magnussen straight into his teammates!
And takes out
No,
the
that's
64
not how
Ford.
you want to do it.
Stromberg not a happy camper.
I wouldn't be, that's a... Yeah.
Let's go take a look at what happened to that superior Mercedes.
Too much in the first section of Les Combes leads to too much in the second section.
Oh.
Power on grass does not go too well.
And 3 crashed race cars because of it.
Yep, and I think Stromberg decided to jump it back to pits, as did Magnussen, but...
Yes, they did.
Is the other driver still going? No.
Nope, all 3 of them towed. It's checking back in. This is kind of similar to what we saw during the practice session. These guys were just all over each other, literally.
Yeah.
Janssen and Eriksson stayed inside of each other's cars for, I think, 2 or 3 laps. As Dennis Scherp putting some moves on Marcus Stiller right now, a little superior on superior action. 2 pretty evenly matched Mercs coming into the bus stop.
Yeah, I mean, probably going to be teamwork between these two, and if you just get the gaps up on the tower, you can just see how much of a gap is had by this top 3 here, as they are quite far ahead, it's fair to say, as Lucas Holmgren's being attacked at the moment.
Take a look at the interval between cars. Yeah, 9 seconds is the gap from Jesper Eriksson to Joko Ware.
Yeah, Holmgren just conceding that position at Les Combes in this lap. There's quite a closely fought train here. Obviously, all of this battling's really going to be helping the Force Esports cars up at the top, though I feel like they would have run away anyway, maybe just not quite this much, quite this early.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, when the pole sitter sets quick lap of the rate, or quick lap of qualifying at a 2:16, also has quick lap of the race so far to 2:16.37, almost to have a second to the good over his teammate Gustav Jansson, who has the second fastest lap of the race. Oscar Fredriksson looks to the inside of Philip Axelsson. Boy.
Side by side down to Blanchimont is not going to be the most comfortable of thing for both of these drivers. Oscar Fredriksson just about keeping a hair alongside and able to get much more alongside into the chicane, and in fact past Philip Axelsson. Now gonna have to try and haul it a little bit through La Source to keep on the back of the toe of that McLaren ahead of him. Otherwise, he's just going to get gobbled straight back up.
And your favorite paint scheme out on track right now, Jason, is Felix Olsen trying to throw his hat into that fight.
Absolutely. Take a look at the logo on the front of that. It's the Nyan car. Forget NASCAR. Who needs it? This is my preferred racing series, Nyan car.
And unfortunately, I don't have a zoomed camera shot. Darn.
As we're going to be looked like 3
Oy.
wide. As we get a bit of a flash from the 690 contact there still through Lake Com between Axelsson and Fredriksson, as it looks like Eriksson's had a bit of a moment there on exit, so he's going to be dumped right into this battle and dumped right into the inside of Bruxelles by the looks of things.
Good
and
grief.
Dumped again. It's lack of momentum there, not working particularly well for him. Closing speeds maybe a bit higher than everyone thought they were going to be.
Unreal.
Or there could be a bit of damage. I'm not too sure. Maybe maybe both of those things.
Yeah, a little bit of right rear or left rear damage. You can see it that wheel well is no longer round, and for that matter, it's no longer covering the left rear tire.
True. That's surely not going to help, but it's not.
Trouble for your leader. Just a few seconds ago,
thing.
This is what happened to Sam Hammarstedt, as he is going to get popped with an off track. Right, I believe there. So
Could have been there, could have been.
No bonus point for the clean race anymore for Hammarstedt.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think he had it anyway. There was a point where he had set a 2:15 and the fastest lap of the race was not a 2:15.
Fair enough. This is your grouping for second place, pushing on each other. Just having some fun with it here in the early going. As we are about 16 minutes into this 80-minute endurance race. You can see some sizable gaps forming.
Yeah. I mean, this is actually, depending on what we're expecting from the pits, because obviously the 66% fuel fill that we have, if you were to have 100%, you would need to pit in this race anyway.
Right.
So if you think a tank's lasting, let's say, about an hour, as Oscar Fredriksson and Philip Axelsson are going at it at the front of this group. Fredriksson's just about going to keep it in front of Axelsson there, but if you're saying a tank's going to go an hour, obviously 2/3 of a tank's going to go 2/3 of an hour.
Correct. And we're going almost an hour and a half.
Yeah. 2 of those tanks is 4/3 of an hour. And what's 4/3 of an hour? 80 minutes. How long's the race? 80 minutes. So
we're looking at least 2 stops done.
It's you might be able to one stop, depending on how much fuel you save. Which Jesper Eriksson is firmly saving fuel, it's fair to say, stuck directly up behind his teammate. But the rest of the group, maybe not so much. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see those two swap at some point to let Jonsson get some of that fuel saving as well.
I mean, you're not wrong. As we're checking back in with the battle for 12, it's Pontius Norgren in the Ferrari, leading Victor Hammerstrom in his Audi. And that battle is now relatively over, as
that one isn't.
This one isn't. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Ooh, side by side is Radion. Are we having it? We're having it. Plenty space left there, and the McLaren able to get the better of the Mercedes during that one. Wonder if Frisk is going to be open to an attack behind, but guess we'll see, as there are attacks ahead. Philip Axelsson once again getting past Oscar Fredriksson. These two are just fighting it out, swapping positions.
And we are going to take a look. We're going to be looking back from Philip Axelsen at Fredriksson. And Jason, you can see that front splitter, it's no longer straight on that Mercedes. Right under the left or the right side headlamp.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good shot. That was when Eriksson went around or had help going around.
Yeah.
That definitely is an aero disadvantage for Fredriksson now.
Yeah, I think it was it Broberg that he made contact with, or no? Broberg had spun.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, was it Broberg?
it was someone.
I
know there's been contact with that car, and that's why it's in 7th and not 4th. But
okay, because I thought it was when he got into Eriksson.
Oh, actually, yeah, true.
Because you can see the left rear damage on Eriksson's car. So yeah.
Admittedly, I forgot the possibility of there being 2 Erikssons. I was looking at the one in 3rd and going, that's not right.
No, Robert Eriksson in the McLaren, the flamethrower.
Speaking of the flamethrower, stay with him as he's... if he gets a good run out here, he's going to be lovely for making a move.
All over the back bumper of Hawk and Wet right now.
Yep, holding in the slipstream fairly nicely, but there's slipstream on slipstream here. So we'll see what he can do. Just looks out, showing, look, I'm here, as, well, that car is notably shorter than the other ones.
Definitely shorter than the BMW isn't the roof line.
Yeah.
I think the Ferrari has the shortest roof line here tonight.
Yeah, seems likely, but Eriksson having to just sit behind for now, as it's pretty difficult to overtake when the car in front of you has slipstream off the car in front of you, and then the car in front of that, and then...
Yeah. You're running Talladega rules at that point.
Yeah.
Back up in second, Janssen and Jesper Eriksson just tooth and nail right now. Boy.
I mean, their job is to make sure nothing goes wrong at this point.
Yeah.
It's all well and good working together, but when you're working together so closely, it's more likely things can go wrong. It's just their job to make sure it doesn't. Speaking of Forza Esports cars, Oscar Fredriksson making a move up the inside here of Philip Axelsen, taking back 6th position, maybe temporarily, as the move into Lake Holm has been perfected by Axelsen for a few laps now.
You're absolutely correct, as I don't think that the 112 with Fredriksson is going to be able to hang on very long. He is starting to pull a little bit of a gap. Got a better exit out of the tight one into... Oi. What are you doing? Into Radion, or out of Radion, I should say. Onto the Camel straight. He's blocking the inside, protecting it.
We've got a replay to get to after this one, but
yes,
let's see how this goes.
So far,
Fredriksson able to stay ahead.
A little bit of trouble here. This is Joachim Ulrichsen.
Oh.
Oi.
I think that's got a bit of the story missing.
I think you're right. And this is what happened to Bjorn Brostrom.
Because they crashed at about the same time, so I thought they were next to each other.
I would have thought it's the same.
No, it just happened at...
different corners.
Björn just
Overcooked
had a
it
little
into the bus
spin.
stop, yeah.
Yeah. We've all done it. But that's just the rear just deciding, no, don't want to do it today.
He had just left the pits, too.
Okay, so he was coming out after previous crash, right?
That's what it looks like. We're backing this up. Bear with us, folks.
Clearly that there'll probably be rear suspension at that point, still not feeling particularly great. That wing looks...
Yeah, we're gonna go
the
back.
aero looks okay.
This is what sent him to the pits. Okay, allegedly that's what sent him to the pits. Nope, it would be this right here. Oh, yeah. Yep, that's what it was. Drove it right back to the pits, and apparently the right rear suspension is Bluetooth on that car.
Well, it definitely was after that later crash as well.
Yeah. So as we go back live, here's Fredriksson and Eriksson still in a heated battle. And here comes Olsen. Thinks better of it.
And I regret to inform you, Tony, that we've got more replays to look for.
Yeah.
As that's Daniel Holmer. No, it's not Daniel Holmer getting out the way. It's,
No, that's Joker Ware. Just overcooks
so this
it.
isn't... Yeah. Overcooks it here.
Oh!
That's the... Oh! Okay.
Oh my.
I was going to say that's the hardest place to rejoin from, but... I've got to say, rejoining the... It looks like that car was still rolling towards the apex from the wrong way. And Axelson probably spun because, well, he wasn't expecting a car there.
Well, let's find out. This is on board with Axelson.
Yeah, so coming into La Source as
yeah,
normal.
you can just barely see that wing and a little bit of smoke, but
yeah,
boom.
I mean, yeah, you're not going to be looking for it. Let's be honest. So,
right.
Well, that was that, and then what was it? Fredriksson ahead of him initially spun.
Yep, and here you can see Fredriksson coming in, and again, he doesn't see it either. Car parked right in it, and just jams on the brakes, not knowing where that car's going, and it's just a dog pile behind him.
Yeah.
And looks like we've got pit road action happening.
Yeah, we do.
Wholesale
just
pit
saw
stops.
Just saw in front of Fredriksson, actually, Håkon Hurt hit the pit wall, which is easy enough to do here, but you really don't want to do that, especially because if you do it too hard, I've seen it before in a Spa 24 that I've run, you can flip the car.
Oh yeah.
So don't do that.
It's very easy to flip the car.
Yeah.
Would you say the 34 did that?
The 101.
Well, let's go back and find out here. As we are on board with the 101 of Hockenwet.
Yeah, well, he comes into the pits as normal. That's fine. But then it's in the turn at La Source.
All right. Let's keep an eye there.
Because obviously, your endurance pits, so you're sitting on pit limiter, having to go around a tighter version of La Source effectively to get through to where most of your pit stalls are actually going to be. And the markings don't quite line up, because the markings are for the Grand Prix pits. So
he hit
gotta be
one,
careful that
and the car behind him hit as well. The 112 of Fredriksson also hit that same containment wall.
Doing a little bit of following, yeah.
As we now go back live, as Eriksson and Hammarstedt both down pit road. Jesper Eriksson and Eriksson and Eriksson both bring it pit side this time, as is Dennis Sherp. Sorry, Den.
Yeah, so I think that just tells us then that it's a two-stop race. It's not a one-stop race.
Right.
Because they're coming in with about half an hour on the clock done. So then we're going to be... After an hour, they'll be taking their second stop, and it'll be more of a dash to the end. But...
And unfortunately, I don't have a clock I can bring up so we can follow along.
Oh well. Something in this pit cycle has meant that Hammarstedt has gained 10 seconds on everyone else.
Probably the fact that the two cars behind him pitted a lap after he did.
No, because I'm looking at the pit times, and Sam Hammerstedt was only stopped for 20 seconds, whereas Johnson and Eriksson was stopped for 29 seconds. Oscar Fredriksson actually doing well, because he was stopped for 23.
Interesting.
So I don't think that's a tyres versus not tyres.
No, because it would have been much
situation,
longer because
tyres are longer. Yeah. So maybe Hammerstedt is taking his less fueled stint now, keeping that gap, and just making sure that he's got the open track ahead of him so that he's not getting anyone in the way. And then he's going to be taking the full tank for the final.
Absolutely. So we've got a battle for fifth still raging on here between Axelson and Fredriksson. They start to get that one sorted back out.
Yeah, some things never change, even if you get involved in crashes and well, nearly end your race, but they pitted. They took different times in the pits, but yet they're still battling with each other.
Absolutely
as Fredriksson in again.
That's strange.
That is strange. You're right. Black flag.
Okay.
That's less strange now.
I'm guessing black flag for over instant.
Yeah, will be. So he'll be driving directly through the pits. Not particularly what you want to be doing at Spa-Francorchamps, considering time in pit lane for a drive-through is over a minute.
Yeah.
About 67 seconds end to end.
Or half a lap if you're keeping track at home.
Yeah.
we're going to tune back in. This is your battle for 6th and 7th. As Robert Eriksson has it, Yucca Wet wants it.
Yep. Not much to do around this section of track overtaking wise. So Sector 2, he's just got to sort of stay with that McLaren. I mean, it's going to have the better of him in the corners in theory. Not sure how it is actually, considering the performance difference between these two cars is fairly high.
Yeah, the BMW definitely has a lot more grunt to get out of the corners and haul it down the straightaway. But once the McLaren gets up on full song and those turbos really kick in, you know, hang on to your hat because it's going to get fun.
Yeah, but slipstream all the way down to Blanchimont and all the way from Blanchimont to the chicane means that Håkon Hurt getting a lot closer than he was, but then unfortunately throwing most of that time away in the braking zone. He broke a bit too late. Took too much velocidad into the first part of the chicane. And now he's lost a decent amount of time. He's going to have to make it back up again.
Well, the other thing you got to keep in mind is that McLaren of Eriksson has some body damage. And I don't know how big that's going to react on the diffuser at the back, but he's definitely got some damage on that car.
We're in the phase of the race now where everything's calmed down a little bit. We're getting towards halfway through. Everyone's been separated a bit by pit stops. Closest cars on track, I'm not going to call it closest battle because it's not really going to end in a battle. It's Gustav Jonsson and Jesper Eriksson. They've been running like this for the whole race. Pitted on different laps. Still ended up right next to each other and in the same order, because why not?
And they're 18 3/4 second behind your points leader and current leader of the race after sitting pole time, Sam Hammarstedt. Only 4 retirements to speak of is Jakob Ulriksson, Marcus Stromberg, Ken Thier, and Philip Bromberg all have decided to call it an evening. A little bit of a battle starting to heat up here between Wet and Stott. Wet in the Mercedes, Stott in the BMW in front of him.
Now it's the battle of the two names that we really struggle to pronounce.
True story. Or struggle with the most, shall we say.
Yeah.
Oi.
And the ones I feel like we probably tend to confuse quite a lot as well, so apologies for that.
End. Look at the front end of Jochen Ware's car.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that'll happen. He did get a big head-on collision earlier.
That's got to be affecting the turn in on that car. With that front splitter as damaged as it is, no front downforce being generated right there. It's getting all rear downforce as all the air is able to go under the car now.
Yeah, luckily for him, that's going to make him very confident through Rouge Radion and through Blanchimont.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly going to be quicker as we get a nice close look here.
Looks like he's hit a telephone pole.
Yeah. nice close look at the front end of the Alpine Stars geodesic racing car. Has that, yeah, front end not looking too good, bonnet not looking too good, and we can't see it anymore. It's to our left, as Håkan Wet not getting the best run through Puon, not a great line, and just allowed Yoka to get to his inside on exit. Sealed the deal through Lei Fan.
And into campus.
Now we're going to see how much that front downforce is going to be screwing with his aero in a straight line. Answer, a lot.
Well, let's find out.
A lot.
250.
Because now that Mercedes is having to push all that air. It's not going to be the best. He wouldn't have noticed it too much stuck up behind the BMW, but as soon as you're the one pushing the air yourself, it gets very noticeable.
Well, let's try to compare that Mercedes with this Mercedes of our race leader, Sam Hammerstedt, as he's not too far away from where we just were.
Yeah.
Into campus and Stavolo, or no, I'm sorry, that is Lafang. And now into campus.
Yeah, what did you say the maximum speed was? Was it after or before Ponchemont?
251, just as they got to the bus stop.
Cool.
And this is what a non-damaged car looks like.
Yeah, so speed's climbing, just about hitting 250 before Blanchimont. 255 looked like.
So about 5 mile an hour slower than the undamaged Hammerstedt. As what is going on here? Those guys are still at it.
Yeah. And they're still just sort of following each other.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's kind of fun to watch when you can just run like this with your friends.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like at some point, or at least I would start getting bored of just seeing a Merc rear end. I'd want to start going for a move, but
right.
Evidently, Jesper Eriksson having a lot more self-control than myself.
Correct. And Eriksson coming into tonight in points in third place, only 3 points in front of the man he's leading right now. Actually, I take that back. Oscar Fredriksson is in second coming into tonight, and he's buried down there just a little bit. Back in 14th. So Eriksson, if he continues running where he is, should take over second place in points. But there's still a 193-point gap to Sam Hammerstedt, currently in the driver's points.
Yeah. I mean, if they're thinking points-wise, it would probably be ideal for this pairing to keep Gustav Jonsson ahead by the end, purely because then you extend the gap out even more to fifth place, which I believe will still be occupied by Daniel Holmer at the end of this, even though he's not having the best day, still running out on track, but he's 18th and doesn't look like he's going to be gaining anything unless other people are crashing.
Let's bring up the points so we can compare. So that the fans at home can follow along rather than just you and I looking at them elsewhere. There you see it, Sam Hammerstedt, 197 points to the good.
Yeah.
Reef. And then you've got 3 points separating Fredriksson and Eriksson. Jonsson currently sits in second tonight as, again, Forza Esports and Forza Esports Academy holding down your top 4, and wouldn't you know who won the pony, take a look at the team standings, which unfortunately I don't have a copy of for us to look at, but Forza Esports currently leads by 180 points. Forza Esports Academy sits in second, 635 points over superior top dogs.
What a surprise that the team 1, 2, 3, and 4 are also up there in the team standings.
Yeah. But 635 points back to third.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, I don't want to know what it is if you add up both sets of Force Esports cars and all the sets of Superior cars. I mean, Superior definitely has the number advantage at that point, but I still don't think it's going to be enough.
They haven't had the finishes.
Yeah.
Because if you add up Esports and Esports Academy, I mean, just Esports Academy is 600 points above Superior.
Yeah.
I'm just doing some quick math here.
Well, with Superior, you've got Superior top dogs, underdogs, stray dogs, fun, and that's that. So
All right, so
4 teams.
Stray Dogs and Fun add theirs together, and that eliminates Forza Esports Academy. No, I'm sorry.
No.
No, it eliminates the gap between Esports and Esports Academy at 180 points. And then
I'm going to do some more maths just to check your maths.
I'm just doing rough estimates here. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt.
So overall, if you take Forza and Superior just as 2 teams, Forza Esports is ahead by 772 points total.
Good grief. So we're watching along with Lucas Homerun right now. Got it all wrong coming through the bus stop, which is why it registered as a crash on my end.
Probably because if you get the braking slightly wrong through there, it moves you down enough.
Yeah, if you drop below 20, about 45 kilometers an hour, it triggers as something has happened horribly wrong.
Yeah.
But something that's happened that's horribly right, Sam Hammerstadt's last time by 2:16.26. Now you're just showing off, Sam, with a 25-second lead.
Are you complaining?
No, I'm just saying that now he's just showing off.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically true, but be interesting to see now that we're sort of in between pit stops. We're getting closer to the second pit stop than we are to what was the first. Is anyone going to bother taking tyres? My answer would probably be no. I don't think there's going to be enough time to make them worth it.
Probably not.
Obviously, if you're taking hour-long stints, you would probably be taking tyres every time. But you're only going to be on them for what, 20 minutes at the end of the race, so
Right.
I would say likely that's not going to be worth it.
As we are fast approaching the 50-minute mark here from Spa-Francorchamps. Thank you so much for making us a part of your Thursday afternoon, evening, wherever it is in your part of the world. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications, give this video a thumbs up, let us know you like what you're seeing. And in case you aren't aware, this is definitely one of those times where you want to be involved, because Sim Racing Media now has racing 7 nights a week again. Even though some of the seasons are coming to an end, we still have it. It's coming up tonight at 7:15 p.m. We kick things off with the Fired Up Esports League, the second round of our doubleheader coming up this evening, as this race is the first part of the triple header. And then at 8:10 Eastern Time, Sim Racers Edge, round 11 at Milwaukee. So if you like some IndyCar racing, that's where you want to be for that one. And then tomorrow night, we've got the doubleheader with the Monsters of Speed New Gen Cup Series, as they take to... where the heck are they? New Hampshire. And the iRacing E Super Speedway Series goes to Talladega in the Cup car. And then, Jason, you and I are going to be back on Sunday for the ISNF Cup Series World 600 from Charlotte.
Yeah, we are indeed. 600 miles of Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And we're cutting heads at that race. It's the second round of their second race of the round of 16.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one, but we're looking into the future on our channel, and we're also looking into the future of the Svenska eRacingligan, as we have Linus Broström joining us in the booth now. Hello.
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
We're
Hanging in there.
looking at this race.
Enjoying a great race you guys are putting on, Linus.
Yeah, everyone apart from Sam, obviously.
Yeah,
but I can't do much about that.
Kind of stinking up the show a little bit. But I see your dad's running your Ferrari tonight.
Yeah, put a different wrap on it, so yeah, we didn't really have the numbers, so we removed the iRacing limits that we had and got a few more drivers to join here for the last couple of GT3 races we'll be doing for a while.
Well, he's holding down a top 15 right now, doing pretty well, keeping that car nice and clean. As I've seen what body work on a Ferrari cost. I watched another YouTube streamer that put a body kit on hers and paid almost 20 grand to have it done.
Yeah, that's why we're in the virtual world, because my bank account won't even be able to do that. So. Go
ahead.
You'd have to remove, I think, at least 4 zeros for me to consider that one. But I think we have a pretty exciting announcement to make, don't we?
We do, yeah. So, as you all know, well, for those of you who don't know who I am the organizer of the whole Svenska eRacingligan, Next Gen and GT3, which has been going now. We're on the 5th season, and when this GT3 season ends in 2 weeks at Watkins Glen, we're obviously going into winter break, and then Next Gen starts off on the 8th of January again, and then the week after that, on the 15th of January, we're going to kickstart our 10-week IndyCar series, which we'll be running instead of the GT3s. So,
nice.
For the first time ever, we're going to be running IndyCars in the Swedish e-race, or Svenska eRacingligan, as we like to call it. So, 10 race days every other Thursday, just like it is now. 11 races in total. There'll be a doubleheader at Iowa, like they have in real life. So, going to be mixing up 6 road courses and 4 ovals. Half and half of each are going to be what they use in real life, and then we're going to bring in another couple of ovals and then some European road courses, as it looks now, to try and spice it up a bit and give the European viewers some more like tracks that they know of,
If I can offer
and
a
then some IndyCar
suggestion,
tracks.
IndyCars at Brands Hatch is an amazing drive.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we kind of looked into that, but I think we decided not to. I won a Brands Hatch Indy, but the others weren't big fans of that, so.
I mean, I can see how that would go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also I can tell everyone right now we're not going to Long Beach because we want people to race, not be parked up in the hairpin. So obviously y'all didn't see that when we had a GT3 there, but there was a massive parking lot, so we're not
You
going
mean
to
you
go to Long
don't want
Beach.
crashes before the green flag?
No, we've had that once, and that's enough. But so that's what's happening after New Year's, and we announced it to the drivers in the drivers meeting, and we're gonna put it out on Facebook tomorrow. And so far, just about everyone has been real happy about it. So yeah, hoping it's gonna go well.
Sam Hammerstedt clawing his way back into the top 5. He just got past Bill Axelson. Axelson under heavy pressure right now from Robert Eriksson. But Linus, I'm so happy you guys are going to be doing an IndyCar series next season. Count me in for that one. I'm sure Jason and Frank are both going to love to do some IndyCar racing.
Yeah, it's. I'm hoping it's going to be great.
Well, if it's any indication what we're seeing here just in the GT3s, it's definitely going to be a very fun experience in the IndyCars. Yeah.
Well, I hope they put on a good show for you tonight, and then hopefully I can join them in 2 weeks at the final at Watkins Glen.
Fingers crossed. Here's hoping.
Yep. Have a good one.
Thanks, Linus.
Thank you, you too.
So what do you think? IndyCars.
Good.
We do not have enough open wheel content on this channel.
No, exactly. It's an exciting development, and I think it's going to provide some great racing. I mean, the GT3s already do provide great racing, but admittedly, the results are a bit decided by now. You can sort of predict roughly what's going to happen up at the front.
Right. As Sam Hammerstedt is the only one that has come down for what should be the money stop already, as we are fast approaching 20 minutes left in this piece.
I mean, if we thought he had the shorter stop last time around, that makes sense. He's had his slightly longer stop this time. Still only in the box for 23 seconds.
Let's just pack it full of fuel and go.
Yeah, I mean, he would have had absolutely zero damage to repair, whereas some of the other cars may have had some damage on their cars. In fact, Johnson and Eriksson may have had damage on their cars purely from bump drafting, who knows?
It's a good possibility, but there is 1 and 2 in the race so far. As they come towards the bus shop chicane. A lot of respect being given as they haul it into La Source now.
How about we sit on board with Jesper Eriksson for a lap and see roughly what he's seeing, as Sam Hammerstedt was just getting past Lucas Holmer in there, going up towards Blanchimont. He's got that one done. As you can see here, Jesper Eriksson just able to sit behind his teammate, approaching a lapped car. That is gonna be Sebastian Magnussen, who is getting out of their way. Thing about these cars is that at Spa-Francorchamps you don't actually tend to use the 6th gear much. At least it's not that way on ACC, which is another simulator mainly used for GT3s.
Right.
I'm not sure whether it's different on iRacing with the power band being different, but when you're over there, it's never really that effective to go into 6th. But Jesper Eriksson was able to do so, maybe a little bit too close for comfort there. Able to do so there as he was saving fuel.
Well, it looks like he's still trying to save fuel, not really pressing the issue with the Onsen in front of him. But the two of them currently 41 seconds to the good over their teammate Sam Hammarstedt, who has already done his money stop. These two drivers still have to come down for their final splash of fuel, as Victor Hammerstrom, Mark Stiller, and Oscar Fredriksson have all just come down to it. As has Dan Holmer. I can't get over the steering wheels in these cars, Jason. It doesn't seem like it'd be comfortable.
It's fine. I mean, just so long as you never need to grab the bit at the top, you're fine.
Sure.
I mean, I wouldn't want this car in anything where you may feasibly need to work the wheels so much that your hands are going all about the place.
You're not wrong. As we are going to check back in here with... just in time!
Great timing, Tony!
Oh, man.
As Robert Eriksson and Philip Axelson make contact into La Source, and
watch that again.
Someone goes very wide to avoid that, so it looks like Eriksson was just sort of trying to sneak one down the inside, maybe? I mean, he wasn't there, is my problem with that.
Right.
That was Håkan Hurt deciding to take the long way around, although...
And Joko Ware...
Backlight has now been re-overtaken.
Right, but Joko Ware actually went to the inside of that crash and snuck through on the, down next to the wall.
Yeah, we've got Axelson trying to get past Hurt now as well. Gonna try it round the outside of Bruxelles. That doesn't tend to work unless the car on the inside's got major damage, and it doesn't this time round either, so good defending there from the BMW, getting him to the outside there, as that's firmly the place where you can just try and kill people's runs when they have them.
They come into the Fange as there is the exit at campus. And into Stavolo.
Yeah, as I'm just looking at the old Spa track map, and there are a decent number of corners that share the same name. Obviously, there are a few corners here that were on the original circuit, such as La Source, as we see here. Eau Rouge Radion Complex has gone much unchanged, as Philip Axelson is coming into the pits. This bit wasn't here before. Obviously, right, with the circuit becoming a lot safer, starting from 1979, getting the newer, more contained section rather than
Yeah, this
just turning left at Lake On.
well, this used to be on country roads.
Yeah.
So. But definitely a marked improvement over the danger that was the original layout, or even the secondary layout that they adopted in the 60s. Because if you think about when Phil Hill and those guys were driving here, you know, it was nothing for the fans to be standing right on the edge of the track trying to glance over hay bales.
Yeah.
Hey, thank goodness for team communications. That almost ended poorly.
One way and one the other. Let's Jesper Eriksson go into the lead of this race. If not temporarily, he's probably going to come in this lap. He came in a lap later last time around, so not going to be too surprised to see the same here.
It all depends on what type of stop that Janssen had.
In fact, the track that we're seeing now is technically also outdated.
Correct.
As they have much moved the wall back at Radion. And also one other change that some people don't tend to notice. We will see how it used to be as we're coming through Bruxelles and up towards No Name. We will see there is just one layout there. There is now two variants there at No Name or Speaker's Corner, however you want to call it. As this track now has the capability and safety to be able to host bike Grand Prix racing.
And if you think car drivers are nuts, wait till you see those guys. Going through the corner, laying your elbow on the ground. On purpose.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they're nuts everywhere, so...
And who's the craziest of them all, you might ask? Top Fuel motorcycle drivers.
Yeah.
Have a monster engine sitting right under your chest as you're basically laying down on this monstrosity and trying to go sub 6 seconds in a quarter mile from a standing start.
No thanks.
At north of 250 miles an hour.
I'm fine.
No thanks. I'll just sit here in the stands. Thanks.
Yeah.
Especially if that engine lets loose, like I've seen a couple happen. Those guys have to wear ballistic chest protectors so that they don't end up with a piston in their spleen.
Yeah, and another crazy form of racing. Have you seen supercarts?
Maybe.
Well, they're ridiculous. Basically, say you take a cart.
Okay.
And you put it on full-size tracks.
Okay.
And it's not normal carts either, because you've got 250cc engines, which don't sound too big, as that's someone off the road. That's not where you're meant to be. Jocke Frisk, by the looks of things. It's just sitting in that gravel trap. So let's see how that happened.
Caught the grass, spun around,
okay,
and beached it.
What happens through the first part then? Because something would have had to have happened through the first part for him to not be able to turn in.
Well,
through the second, or
he just went wide. Step on the brakes and the back end spun out on him.
That's a weird crash.
Very.
But yeah, so you've got the 250cc engines, which obviously doesn't sound like much. But then when you realize, including driver, this entire thing is 205 kilograms. Or 452 pounds.
Right.
For you freedom folk. With a 95 horsepower engine, you're going 140 miles an hour in, well, nothing.
Those are the ones that you kind of lay down on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen those. And yeah, they are very wild. Matter of fact, a good friend of both of ours, Angel Santiago, used to race those.
What a crazy man.
You think? Have you met Angel?
No. Well,
I have.
I've spoken to him.
I have, and the man is definitely a French fry short of a happy meal. Still a good friend of ours, though.
Yeah.
As we're watching Marcus Stiller claw his way back up through here. Jesper Eriksson has gone to the pits, and that's letting Sam Hammarstedt, there he is, take the lead of the race back over. As Gustav Jansson is another 43 seconds back off of Sam. Let me say that again to you. 43 seconds.
God. That's quite the gap.
And apparently my timing scoring threw up because that's not what happened there. 17 seconds to the good over Eriksson, who's got 4.5 seconds over Jansson.
Well, that's still a lot. So
yeah, 18 seconds is a hell of a run so far.
Yeah, we'll forgive you. Jesper Eriksson only really that far ahead after being effectively locked onto the rear of Gustav Jansson for the entire race because he was able to go 2 laps longer. He was able to have a shorter pit stop.
Correct. And we are only
now
10 minutes.
Sense.
We are only 10 minutes left in this piece.
Yep, that is correct.
Hammarstedt leads, Eriksson, Jansson second and third. And then you're 50 seconds from Gustav Jansson in third back to Joko Ware, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say the Forza Esports cars have done quite well.
Yeah.
And I like my understatements. That was one, if you couldn't tell.
Right. And as we're seeing Ware work on the backside of Bjorn Broström, Broström gives him plenty of room, lets him go. Not quite on the pace. Sam Hammarstedt continues to show the way now. As he's still picking his way through the lap cars. And we'll be back right after this.
Behöver du en bil? Mobi hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mobi hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig. Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig. Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
And we are back at Spa-Francorchamps for the penultimate round of the Svenska eRacingligan GT3 division. Thanks, Pastor Jason Software up in the booth with you for this one. Sorry about the technical difficulties, folks, as we are checking back in. Your closest battle right now is Marcus Stiller, and Pontius Nordgren is the lone Ferrari still on the lead lap, trying to make his way around that superior BMW, or Mercedes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's going to have to be sooner rather than later, as we're getting very much into the late stages of this race. I think it's going to be one lap to go after Sam Hammarstedt crosses the line for the next time.
Should be.
So this battle's going to have to sort itself out fairly quickly. Let's have a look at our leader coming in towards the chicane.
1 minute left in the session.
Whether he's going to see that white flag or not. The answer is, I don't know.
The answer is a definite maybe. This should be the final lap of the race.
Yeah, from all of our timings, we think this is going to be the last lap, so let's act like it is, and if it's not, then yeah, there's a guy waving a white flag there.
There he was.
He was there. That's not the finish line, that's the start line.
Yeah, the finish line is well before you get into... Yeah. So, Hammarstedt continues to show the way. Eriksson, Janssen, Jochen Ware, Lucas Holmgren, and Jochen Wet rounding out your top 6 right now. A little bit of a gap from Wet to Hammerstrom, who is being scored as the last car on the lead lap in the Audi.
Yeah, and let's take a look back at the battle for 9th position, as it looks like Jonas Scotland is getting very much so into it as well. Sam Hammerstedt's close to rounding out this race, so it's going to be interesting here. They're going to have to try and position themselves as best as possible, as Jonas Scotland using an off track there to maybe try and get a bit of extra time. That's another one. Maybe using the fact that you can't actually get too many in a certain amount of time.
Right.
But
meanwhile, there's
cutting back
Hammerstedt.
Isn't going to help. Yeah, he's poised to cross the line in first. Let's keep having a look at our battle here.
Through Blanchimont with a good head of steam. Hammerstedt into the bus stop for the final time. Comes out of the bus stop. Should get the checkered flag here. Yes. Does get the checkered flag.
Cool. Let's take a look at that battle as
113 just got
we might miss something. As
that's Marcus Stiller. Let's go back and see what did happen there. There's Stiller leading out of Blanchimont into the bus stop.
Yeah.
Tries to make the move up the inside and gets the front end taken off by the Ferrari. Wow.
Well, Nordgren coming around the outside. I think Stiller went a bit deeper than he would have wanted to.
Right.
And then just all of the cars around didn't really help him that much, going into a bit of a half spin, and then unfortunately losing most of the positions from what I can see. Is Fredriksson ahead of him? No, Fredriksson is still behind him.
Yeah. But right now, we've got Jochen Ware coming through the final corner for the final time to put his race in the books. That leaves Lucas Holmgren. There he is. Håkan Wet comes across for the final time. And Victor Hagström in second. Hammerstrom.
Yeah, that's going to be P7 for the driver number 62 Audi. And then simply waiting for Sebastian Magnussen in the 877, sorry, to come across the line, and then we'll have the full results available.
There he
Interesting
is.
fact before we do get there, it was only the top 7 who were on the lead lap in the end. That just shows the pure pace of Sam Hammerstedt.
It absolutely does, as we are going to bring up that. And we are going to bring up this, I think. Maybe. Where is he? There he is. Jason, I believe you got the man that stunk up the show completely with you tonight.
Yeah, Sam Hammarstedt, another race, another win. I guess there's not much to really say about it in the end.
No, it was a pretty straightforward race from my part. I just in the start I forgot that we were doing the endurance layout. I started to accelerate on the Grand Prix straight, so I might have confused the other people in the back, but I think it was okay.
Yeah, it looked a little bit like it, but everyone got it sorted out in the end still. So, well, you confused me a little bit as well. To be honest,
Yep.
I didn't quite know which which layout was going to be run, but in the end, it was all fine.
Yeah, it was.
In terms of pit strategy, did you do anything different? I know you didn't really have to, but it seemed like you were slightly less fueled on the middle stint than you were on the other two.
Yeah. I thought I put the same amount of fuel for the second stint as I did in the third, instead of putting all the fuel in the second and then much less in the last. That way I have less fuel in the car at all times, so it's maybe a few tenths quicker per lap.
Yeah, well, you may not have needed it, but it probably certainly did help. Were there any interesting moments in your race pretty much at all, or was it just sort of smooth sailing throughout the entire thing?
No, I gotta say it was pretty smooth sailing.
Cool. Well, any questions from Tony? I will take that as a no. So before we let you go and celebrate
If I turn my
this
mic on,
win
no,
again. All right, yeah.
I just want to say congratulations, Sam. As I believe you have now officially clinched the championship in the GT3 ranks.
Yeah, we don't know yet either, but it's a possibility. But we'll have to see when the results come out.
That's a strong possibility, my friend. But Forza Esports showing dominance here tonight. Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without them, and also of course our sponsors Bara and Hyrbilar, and my parents for their support.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, well, if you have won it, congratulations. If you haven't won it, then we'll see you in 2 weeks for when you may win it there.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now, Tony, you have our second place finisher, Jesper Eriksson, with you now.
Jesper Eriksson, all things considered, can't be too disappointed in a 1-2-3 finish for Forza Esports.
I am not. This is an amazing results for us. 4 cars in the top 5. It's just amazing results from absolutely everyone. Amazing job.
Well, it was more amazing what I saw you guys do during the practice session, where 3 or 4 of you were inside of each other for like 2 laps.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. That was a good time. We were so scared. We were panicking the whole time, but it was so fun. Good practice.
Yeah,
serious
absolutely.
practice.
It looked like a lot of fun. It looked like you and Gustav Jansson were having some great fun running stem to stern there for most of the race.
Yeah, we had. I had an amazing time at least. I can't say as much for him. Yeah, we did battle though, because like I did like joke around with him a few times, like peeking through, and he started to like, nope, you're not gonna go through there. So we had lots of fun. It was this race was just amazing. I absolutely loved it.
Absolutely. Next time we see you guys in the GT3 cars, you're going to be in my neck of the woods and my home track of Watkins Glen. What are your thoughts going into that layout?
Watkins Glen is a track that I've always liked and always enjoyed driving around, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a super fun time there. At least I am, for sure. So I am very much looking forward towards that.
Very good. Jesper, who do you need to thank before we turn you loose? And then Jason, if you've got any questions.
The whole team, all the practice we put in, for giving this race such a good time. All the laughs during the race and during practice, and all the sponsors, Mabihi Bilar and Kappa Bar, for sponsoring us and doing all this possible.
I've got nothing apart from well done and great race for you there.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Great broadcasting.
Jesper Eriksson, again, congratulations on the podium. We will see you in 2 weeks at the Glen.
We sure will.
And Jason, I believe you have the man who finished third with you now.
Yeah, I do indeed, Gustav. Third place and a 1, 2, 3 for the team. That's a pretty good result coming out here from Belgium.
Yeah, for sure. A bit disappointing I couldn't get P2, but yeah, Jesper could really fuel save behind me a lot, so it was really no possibility to make that happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, were there any points during the race where you sort of attempted to just let him by so that you could fuel save as well?
Actually, not, because I weren't too confident that I was going to have the same pace as him. That's not usually how it is, but yeah, now I was like, I didn't feel like I would keep up with him. So for me, it was just better to stay in front and then see if anything would happen in the race and maybe get him by that. But no, I think he would have gotten away like Sam did. So it was better to try and stay in front.
Yeah, well, still a good result in third place, and it definitely solidifies your currently fourth in the championship, but not so good a race for your teammate Oscar Fredriksson. So that may change to third.
Yeah.
But definitely solidifying that top four then, as Daniel Holmer didn't have such a good race. Jocke Hue didn't have too good of a race either, so
Jocke finished
still
in fourth.
Actually, yeah, but true. I was looking at the wrong Jocke, but it's still more points for third than fourth. So there you go. But before you let him go and celebrate the podium, who else do you need to thank?
Yeah, of course, the whole team, Force Esports, Kappa Bar, and then also Mabihi Bilar.
Well, there you have it, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, see you.
Jason, we got another one in the book. Sam Hammarstedt, as expected, led the vast majority of laps here tonight. 18 seconds to the good, 18 3/4 seconds to the good at the drop of the checkered flag. Jesper Eriksson hangs on for second. Gustav Jansson in third. Jocke Ware in fourth. Lucas Holmgren in fifth. Jochen Wett in sixth. Victor Hammerström in seventh. Philip Axelsson, Pontius Nordgren, and Jonas Skoglund round out your top 10. Jason?
Yeah, Oscar Fredriksson, Robert Eriksson, and Marcus Stiller 11th, 12th, and 13th, with Felix Olsen and Dennis Scherp running at the top 15. Then we've got Björn Broström in 16th, Daniel Holmer in 17th, Sebastian Magnusson in 18th, Jocke Frisk in 19th, and Henrik Ulriksson rounding out your top 20. And then 21st, 22nd, and 23rd go to Marcus Stromberg, Kenneth Tier, and Philip Broberg.
That is going to about do it for us here tonight from Spa-Francorchamps. Be sure to join us next week for the Cup Series making their return. And 2 weeks from now, we will be at Watkins Glen to definitely crown the champion for the GT3 division. Mr. Jason Stofford, this is Tony Chapass. Reminder, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again, as you walk down the road of life, whatever you do, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
Good night.